Good morning. My name is Janine McGowan. I'm the designer behind the Blue Flower Cross Stitch label, and I'm here to talk about cross stitch and whatever else comes up today. It's Saturday morning, the 15th of August, a lovely sunny day here in Nevada. Yesterday was World Cross Stitch Day, which unfortunately I did not get to observe as I didn't get to stitch at all yesterday, which is very sad. Perhaps we could make a whole World Cross Stitch weekend because I really need a little bit more time. Sometimes after work when I'm watching the puppy, she just wants to wrestle with our other dog and I can stitch away outside. This was not one of those times. This was one of those, can I eat this? No? How about this? What about this? Maybe I dig here? No. Could I eat this? So, alas, no cross-stitching done by me yesterday, but hopefully some today to make up for it. So, thank you to everyone who sent me good comments and suggestions from last video about how to finish a pillow without making it lumpy. You're absolutely right. I should have looked at Vana's first, and she and some of the other great online sources have taught me everything I know, such as it is so far. Actually, after I did my last Flosstube, I had a Zoom call, and then I got out and saw my husband, and he said, "Good Flosstube, but you should have gone to Vana." And I was like, "What? What? How do you know that?" He said, "I just read the comments. Everyone says, go to Vana." So thank you, Vana, for everything that you teach all of us. We really appreciate it. Let's see. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit, before we get right into the cross stitch, about the idea of pursuing joy. I don't know how it is for everyone, but for me, I don't usually have to pursue fear and anxiety and worry. Those come waltzing right up the sidewalk and start throwing a party in the living room with disco balls and jazz hands and all of it. But as a counterbalance to that, I try to really be aware of joy, which means being attentive more than I would normally, perhaps, keeping a lookout for things and really embracing the small joys that we can find even during difficult times. And one of those great joys during this difficult time for me has been from my husband. We have, obviously, puppy, so in the mornings we trade off who's watching her versus getting ready, and one of the last things he does every morning is he picks up all the dog toys that are upstairs and puts them away. He started recently arranging them artistically, and so when I go up to get ready, I get to see his latest creation of dog toys, and they just make me laugh every single time. And I get to start my day off with just joy, and I love it. So I'm actually going to put in a little video, about 30 seconds worth, right here, and I'll pause for a second when I'm done. But it won't take long just to share some of that little joy with all of you. But I'd also like to hear from you. What are the little things that have helped? Again, these are not easy times, but some of the little encouraging things, hopeful things, learned a new skill, got to appreciate something you hadn't necessarily had time for before. Whatever it is, I think we can all do with a little pick-me-up whenever we can find it. So if you want to share in the comments with me something that has brought you a bit of joy recently, I would love to hear it. And just for 30 seconds, here you go, the fabulous new field of dog toy art. Coming back now, I wanted to go to Stitching in Action. I've had several great submissions on the website. Particularly this time, I wanted to highlight Winter Squirrel by Mendy R. I don't know what the fabric is, but it looks like Ada, and I love the frame that she chose. I think she did a great job with this one. I also wanted to show Summer Quilts by Amy. Many of you know her as the fabulous Amy Loves Toads. This was designed as a drum, and she eliminated part of the design to make it lay out better and then finished it as a mat or a quilted panel that she can hang in her laundry room, which I think is just perfect. And Amy actually provided a little bit of the inspiration for this design because I had been talking to her and we were doing a stitch along before everyone had to stay home anyway. It was just Skype stitching. But, you know, she always has her dogs around, and so I was making little dogs for this and thought immediately of her chihuahuas. So thank you, Amy, for submitting that, and thank you, Mindy. What I'm stitching is the next thing. I actually have an FFO, which I'm so excited about. This is a finish of Dames Boarding School from Exemplar Dames, and some of you may know it as the picture that's on the front of the X-Stitch app, if you use that, the older one, not the new one. But the older one had a picture of this. Now, of course, obviously I got drunk with power and didn't have enough of the called for thread, so I just went off book, but here we go. Dames Boarding School by Exemplar Dames. See if we can get a little closer look at some of that variegation. I love the blue lettering. I really like the border. It was awfully fun to stitch. I think my favorite thing in this whole piece is this element right here, which I honestly have no idea what it's meant to be, but to me that is 100% dinosaur. This boarding school has a pet dinosaur, and I think that's awesome. So here it is, FFO, lovely finishing and framing by Acorns and Threads in Portland. But yeah, it's nice to get something to hang on my own wall once in a while, so I'm really enjoying that. The next thing I have to show today is my other fall release, and these are at the printer now. They should be going out in a notification to shops in a week or two, depending on when the patterns get finished and the printer's happy. And then after that, we'll do the official online announcement. So they should be arriving at shops end of the month, beginning of next month, depending on how quickly I can get them printed. This is a rework of a pattern I did exclusively for Acorns and Threads that was a drum finish, but now I've expanded it and added a border to make it just a general fall finish. So this is called Acorns, if we can get that right. And obviously acorns in the middle, oak leaves and acorns, tons of teeny tiny little squirrels in there, and a border on the edge that's taken with a slight modification of a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The creation of 1,000 forests is in a single acorn. And I think that's always something I need to hear. Just since I live my life on a pretty small scale, it's nice to feel like even small scale actions and decisions can have an impact. So this is coming to shops soon. It's on a beautiful Highland linen from Picture This Plus. And I actually wanted to say a word about linen because I know particularly now, in general it's tough, but particularly now it can be difficult for us to get linen on time, and there are just big waits. We have a lot of lovely dyers who are making linen as fast as they possibly can, and they just can't keep up with all the linens that we want to have. So I would really suggest that you reach out to your local shop owner. They have such a wealth of knowledge that they can recommend something that you might be able to get more quickly or that would give you a really good substitute for the look that you're trying to go for. So would encourage you not to despair if the particular one that I've used or another designer has used is not immediately available. Talk to your shop owners. That's what they do all the time. They know what they can offer that would be a little different and maybe help you get something that you love even more. So that is the new release. I was going to show the Halloween pillow again because I forgot to mention last time on the trim that Lois from Lady Dot actually walked me through on the phone very graciously how to sew that trim on. So I wanted to thank her. As with Fauna, Lois is a giver and very generous with me particularly, and spending time, which is difficult to do over the phone, walking me through how to do some of the different applications. So thank you very much, Lois. And the the poor quality of my finishing is in no way a reflection on Lois and her awesome trim or her finishing skills. So leave that there. Okay, Stash Spotlight this week is actually not a chart, but it's something cross-stitch related. This is a piece that I have just for fun, for taking photographs, and honestly because I love it. It's just old vintage china, pottery. No particular value on this one. But look, it's a little transfer work cross-stitch design of a bird. I love it so much. I've got a couple of pieces of this pattern here, the little flower on the top of the whatever, creamer. And then I've got another unrelated cross-stitch dish with a little grid there. I had no idea cross-stitch China patterns were even a thing, but now that I've discovered them, I've got to admit I kind of want more. So I'll keep an eye on eBay and Etsy and see what I can turn up, because that just is so fun to me. Okay, questions from viewers. Last time, Deb asked to see all of the squirrels. Now, I've already done Halloween and summer, although I brought them out again because I realized that I didn't talk about the little pillows that go with them. So I'm just going to very briefly pop up Halloween. This was the, oops, there we go, Halloween squirrel. And what I wanted to talk about was the little acorn pillow. With each of these, I did a little acorn pillow that goes, let's see, reading backwards, there we go. So you can see it's a stylized Acorns design. It was inspired by, some probably classic 70s fall sweaters I had when I was a kid. So that's just for that one, and that was the Halloween acorn that you've already seen. Then summer acorn, same thing. There's the summer acorn. And here is the summer acorn pillow that goes with it. And as you can see, it's just a rotating, repeating design of little urns with flowers and acorns and squirrels. So I hadn't shown the little pillow before when I showed the summer acorns. Now, Deb, I'm not going to do all of the other three right now because I don't know that I have time, and I might not go beyond 20 minutes, but I'm going to do autumn, which was the first one this time, and then next time I will do winter and spring. So here is the autumn squirrel. As I adjust, there we go, everything backwards. This one was originally done for Acorns and Threads. I love the frame that they chose for it, and it's based on a squirrel with cake plates and a big stack of acorns. It's a little bit hard to see, but this thread on the outside is called Mississippi Mud, and I know in the past I've talked about when you use a variegated floss. This is a beautiful variegated floss with lovely tones of purple and steel blue and brown and green all together, and so something like a thin border as this one is a great opportunity for a floss like that, because you can really show the color changes. And let's see if I can get a little better view on that. But anyway, there are online pictures that are maybe a little better. Here is the little pillow that goes with it, just like a little acorn color wheel with a big star in the center. Beautiful finishing by Jolynn at Acorns and Threads, who doesn't mess up her trim the way that I do. So anyway, that is autumn squirrel. As I said, I'll do winter and spring next time, and that will be all of the squirrels so far. There may be another squirrel in the works, but we'll see. So thank you, Deb, for asking that. As always, if anyone has a model that they'd like me to talk about, just let me know and I will bring it up. Best thing this week. Steph, Lindy Stitches, the fabulous Steph, has a new website, and I think she did such an awesome job. I'm amazed. I need her to teach me how to do website things, but I think it's beautiful. I'm excited for her. If you haven't checked it out, it's a great place to go, and she also has a spot where you can show your finishes, which is wonderful, so we can all be inspired and see what you've done. So I encourage you to check it out. I'll put the link down on the bottom so you can see it. I also started watching a new Flosstuber this week for the first time, and I'm going to apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly. Darvanalee Designs. The most exciting thing that I enjoyed hearing about in her latest Flosstube is that she is in the process of working on a new magazine called Down the Rabbit Hole, which is featuring cross-stitch designers from Australia and New Zealand, which I think is just wonderful. I'm so excited, because as much as we get to live in a global world where we see with social media some of the exciting things that are happening, in places that are far away by mail where we may not get a lot of charts because of mailing cost, it's really exciting to think we'll get to see more content from those creators. So that I'm really looking forward to, and I'll put that information in the notes as well. Now, last thing this week before the puppy videos, don't forget that, is that I am doing a giveaway. We have 2,000 subscribers. We thank you very much for the 2,000 of you who have subscribed to my channel. It's been a journey so far, and I really appreciate your time and subscriptions. And so just to mark that, I wanted to give away two things together, not just separately, but so the person who wins the giveaway will win both of these things. The first is this book, Samplers from the Victoria and Albert Museum. Now, this is not a book that has a lot of background information about a particular sampler or a particular family. It's a lot of good photographs of a number of samplers in the Victoria and Albert Museum collection, which come from around the world in different times. And so it's just a great thing if you like to look at pictures of samplers, as I do. So I wanted to share a couple of the most fun ones. Here's this beautiful band sampler. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let's see. It's English from 1660. And then they did this close-up view. Look at those people. They're like disco side-eye down there in 1660. I really like that one. Thought that was fun. Then another one that I really enjoyed. This is a very large sampler. I believe it's from Spain or Mexico on this page. And then here's the close-up with that lady saying, oh, there's an enormous lizard in this sampler. Look at that. It's just the little details you wouldn't see when you're looking at the big piece, so it's nice sometimes to have the close-ups. One more on this one. This one here is from Mexico. It's a beautiful, look at all those beautiful motifs, and I'm so interested because on the one hand, look at that fabulous lifelike rooster and the blue cat, just so detailed. And then up here, we've got this funky like checkerboard, what, deer, maybe? Just completely randomly thrown in, no finishing at all. Have a checkerboard deer, why not? So that book, I'll ship it to you anywhere in the world. And I'll tell you in a minute what we need to do to have you win that. So that's one of the prizes. The other prize is a copy of the Jane Fittis 1835 chart from Hands Across the Sea. And I don't have it here. I've ordered it, but I ordered one for myself and I ordered an extra one to give away because I think it's just amazing. I'll put a picture up here. It has wonderful details. There's a little spotted dog and a great cat. And one of the things that I really loved about this, because all the Hands Across the Sea samplers are beautiful, but I don't buy them all. It has to be one that I particularly want to stitch. And this one has, under the house, a selection of turkey stitch, I believe it's called. It looks very fluffy, and I would like to learn how to do that. So that's why I ordered this particular one. So you'll get a copy of that. In order to win, what I'd like you to do is send me a comment using the word stitch. And tell me what your favorite stitch is, the one you like to do the most, the one you loved learning, the one you would think you might like to learn, like the turkey stitch. And yeah, just put that in there. I will be for subscribers only, so make sure that you are subscribed if you're going to enter. But yes, just send me a comment with the word stitch in it. Tell me what your favorite is, and I will put you in the wheel and announce that on the next video. That's all I have for today. I don't know how long that's taken, but probably less than 20 minutes. There's about 2 minutes of puppy video if you want to stay around for that. Otherwise, have a lovely weekend. Hopefully celebrate Cross Stitch Weekend with me, as almost every weekend really is. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.